How you guys doing? It's July 8th, 2025. In case you didn't know, this is Melissa, your free range psychic, taking questions. Hey, Ivy. Hey, Sonia. Yeah, so that happened. I don't even know what's happening anymore. It's so hard to keep track. But I've been saying that every live. Hey, Daniel. How you doing? I always light candles and pray before I come on here and just ask to be the best channel I can be for you guys. Even though sometimes I'm not sure, what I want to talk about. Um, there's so many emotions, with this administration. Hey, Maura. And I think we're just all being really challenged right now. Uh, People are going through it. My guides say, Pluto and Aquarius, uh, Uranus and the planets changing sign, and uh, all of this astrological influence, kind of mixing everything, mixing in with everything. And there's including the huge weather events. It's like maybe we all need to build an ark, like Noah in that the tale of Noah and the ark. Um, but it is a time of great transformation and spiritual transformation. And I guess this is what it feels like because our old realities are breaking up, but the new ones are coming in. Okay, Daniel, what's your question? One quick question. That is a great question. I will answer that if I can. Timing's not great, and I have skin in the game, meaning I have emotions here. I have asked this before, and I get no, that he will be ousted by then. There's a lot yet to come in this year, and I'm skeptical myself, but my guides do tell me that um, just because like I have to be grounded and be here for whatever is. But hey, Carol, um, but they tell me that he'll be gone, and that sounds fantastic, but or fantastical. Is that the right word? But Kamala and Tim are going to take their rightful places. That they always say that whatever, I don't know, timing, that our democracy is going to hold. It will not be toppled over, even though they're trying to upend the pillars of it. They meaning our current administration, other Russia, China, whatever, uh, Saudi Arabia, all these like they're big sharks, kind of circling. This is the U.S. has been, this kind of uh, like this a really delicious chunk of meat that they've been hungering after, and they've tried everything they can to uh, you know attack it. But our democracy will stand. It will stand despite everything we're seeing right now. And remember, they're reminding me that Putin, he perfected the art of gaslighting. So all we're seeing on the mainstream media, which is owned by the oligarchs, is that democracy is falling, but that is not the case. And we have to just be really careful if we start falling prey to their messages of doom, and their neglect to really kind of shed light on the strengths, the positives, because that is happening. The positives are happening. It's so interesting. It's very Neptunian, and when I say Neptunian, I mean the planet Neptune is responsible for it's very dualistic, like the sign it rolls Pisces, two fish, one swim, but the Pisces is like one fish swimming one way and the other fish swimming the other way. So there's great spiritual illumination and connection and creativity, poetry and music and nirvana. Pisces brings that in, but also the other fish is just hanging on uh, for all its strength to illusion and ego and to the old ways of patriarchy and the religious grandiosity. So we're still, even though Pluto has moved into Aquarius and we are moving further and further. This Neptunian Pisces was the last stage. This grasp of Pisces is still strong because we're right on the cusp of it, as seen from above. So yeah, that's the question, the answer to the question, Daniel. Hey, JC. Hey, Carol. Thank you. Yeah, good wishes to you, the UK. Um, JC says 170 billion ice is actually to force ICE to stage occupations in all states. Today they occupy. Yeah, I saw that. They occupied MacArthur Park in LA. I heard, fortunately, that activists warned the immigrants, because it's like a high ratio immigrant population there. So they scarpered, and there were just kind of kids playing soccer. So I sense, or what I see gradually, is that Russia slash the Trump administration is attacking LA. It's like they attacked Ukraine. They want to attack and occupy California, and then strip it of its resources. And California was the first target. And that's what's happening. They are trying to occupy it. So what is the question, really? Will they be successful in the end? $70 billion to ISIS. You know how much of that's going to be grafted by grifters? How much of that is not going to go to ICE because of the players involved? Anybody want to take a guess? Hey, Linda. Yeah, thank you, Daniel. Prayers for all the folks in Texas and anyone who has to suffer under this administration, meaning all of us on some level. Hey, Taya. Will the people of Texas wake up after this latest gross blunder? Well, they've been hit a lot. I mean, their whole infrastructure is disintegrating because of the and they're like Texas, like the prototype, right, for this new libertarian America. It's not even libertarian, though. I looked up the meaning of libertarian, and libertarian really, in essence, means that. And when I say libertarian, it's like no regulations. Everything is kind of independent of the government. But they also are supposed to believe, I guess, or it's in the definition, that the government shouldn't interfere. It's a limited government, so it shouldn't interfere with your bodies and your choice, and it's not happening. So the whole budget will get taken back. Yes, it will. That's what grain of salt, anything I say. I'm just a psychic. What do I know? Just doing the best to hear what my guides are saying. But yes, the guides are saying it will get taken back. It's all going to change. All of this is going to be dealt with, and there will be a lot of trials, a lot of investigations. It's just, we're going to be watching like one after another of people like Bondi and Patel and Noam testify to these egregious acts. Daniel, you're getting a lot of questions highlighted here. Now that, because they're so good, now that DOJ claims there's no Epstein study. It's interesting to me how easily people are gaslighted because I was watching, I think like at the Bulwark, and which I think they're actually Republicans that kind of became never Trumpers. But shows and even Luke Beasley and people like that going, oh yeah, like there was such a thing as the Epstein list. Oh, only the MAGA believe that, but there, well, of course, there was a list. I mean, all of that is. I remember. I don't so easily forget the things that I saw or that were reported over the years regarding Epstein and his relationship with Trump and his potential involvement with, Russia and other countries on compromise. That Epstein's whole thing was compromise. Somebody from Bulwark said, "Oh yeah, only 250 women, not 1,000." What the hell are you talking about? Like, are you all of a sudden trying to say, "Oh yeah, MAGA is just like this is just a MAGA thing"? No, this was a part from all of that. Even though I don't know why MAGA is so upset over this list and Cash Patel not revealing it. I think this is. I'm not sure whether this is sparked by QAnon. I mean, they have a right to be because it is egregious. I mean, there were so many harmed by that's human trafficking ring. I mean, that was international, right? It's so crazy. And she did say there was a list, and now she's saying there's not a list, and she didn't really mean a list. But this is like, just lie, just tell them anything, just say this. They're really, really good at. It's like the guys are showing me like a language processing factory where they're just processing language to mean whatever they want it to mean, and they can deny whatever they want. But I do too. I do. Is it Moss or Bass? JC, or am I thinking of another mayor? Um, well, I recall JC when they went in and broke into, or not broke, when they went into when they arrested him and they went into his um, place, mansion in New York, and I remember hearing about, you know, um, information, names, lists. There are. I mean, of course, he did keep client lists. I don't know if there's a list, but there were lists of. And the other thing is, another person I watched said that there wouldn't be a plain list of people who went directly to the island because they would have to go to a neighboring island and then catch a boat or a helicopter. So that's an issue too, because you can say, well, yeah, I never took the plane to Epstein's Island because people didn't fly into Epstein's Island. They went to, is it the Mauritius Islands or St. Thomas and the Virgin Islands to actually get there. Um, but a lot of this information was, and I remember seeing a list actually. I remember, I don't know what was that? Was that I think it was like his address book or something. He did have information on the people that he trafficked to, and we're being gaslit. So whatever, just go back and remember what it is that you were learning over all of these years from the time Epstein died, and that didn't go away. That's still there. Um, more. Um, let's see. Will both the rep? No, the Dem parties won't splinter. As much as Putin would like that, um, will Elon have his America party? Oh my God! I mean, yeah, but yeah, like he's like a trustee, like a moral, like linchpin for us. People, that's again had short memories. He's the most hated person in the world and in this country, besides the felon. And they want to. I want to say that the Russia wants America to splinter because it makes us weaker. That's been their whole objective from the beginning. But will the question is, will they? So is Karen Moss? Is she the mayor of LA? JC? Hey, Arlene, Lori, hey, Tristris. Okay, I'm going to answer the question here. Um, no, it won't. The parties won't splinter. There will be occasional third parties, but they're never really going to, I don't want to say never. They're not going to gain traction anytime soon. Um, the MAGA, well, there is in a way, I want to ask the guys this because there is like a MAGA party, right? What's happened is the MAGAs have usurped the Republican Party, and then they have tried to, get rid of anybody they consider old school Republican, and they've called them rhinos, which is just mind twisting right now. Their guests, lighting cognitive dissonance, Orwellian misuse, or use of language, because the reality is, rhino means Republicans in name only. Well, obviously the MAGAs are Republican in name only. There's nothing Republican about that party. So in a way, the Republicans have already splintered. Um, but let's ask about that, because the Republican Party is kind of officially dead and has become the MAGA party. So I guess it already has splintered and died. So their work is to revive the Republican Party once MAGA is dealt with. Will MAGA ever be dealt with? That's another question, right? Will MAGA always be in control of the the usurpation of the Republican Party? Really, MAGA could be, the America Party, which is ironic in and of itself. The Republican Party will remain the Republican Party as an umbrella term, and MAGA will. It's like MAGA is going to die. MAGA is going to disappear. And maybe when Felon 45 disappears, MAGA goes with it. Especially when Putin disappears, MAGA goes with it. It has an expiration date. That's what they're showing me. It's not forever. And then when MAGA disappears, the Republican Party has to remake itself, which will be a big process. But the Democratic Party is strong, and don't let them fool you. People say, "Oh, the Democratic." I heard it out of Felon 45's mouth. "Oh, the Democrats, they've lost their way." That's BS. Please, the Democrats have not lost their way, but we're getting this message from the media, right, to imprint into our brain is that the Democrats don't have support and the Democrats have lost their way. No, they're very cohesive. They have. Oh, yeah, I thought I had gotten it wrong. Yeah, it's all right. Karen Bass. As long as we're talking about the same person, it's all right, JC. Um, uh, our Senator Gary Peter is retiring. Yeah, he was so wonderful. Um, it's Haley, a Democrat, Haley Stevens, Daniel. Yeah, it'll be strong Democrat. We're gonna get another replacement, and that one will be very good. Um, so, oh, Lori says exactly, Melissa, and he's stealing Hillary Clinton's election logo with the arrow through the name. Um, that's all they do. They're not creative in the sense of coming up with really anything new. So they just rip off. I'm talking about, the MAGA Republican, whatever, that party, and they steal, our ideas, and then they also turn around concepts like woke, which is a great to be awake, and then they're really good at putting poison in those ideas, so that like they did with liberal and calling people snowflakes, and it's so poisonous and insidious. Let's see. Is cloud seeding a thing? I think it is, but I don't think it's used in a way that QAnon wants us to believe. Um, because I did meet somebody. several years ago who was talking about cloud seeding as a way to introduce some. It was to offset the balance, or the was something to do with offsetting some environmental imbalance. Uh, but it no, they're trying to the Republicans are trying to blame the Democrats. Like they're not even like how would they even get power to do that? Like they're not in control of the organizations that would be able to change the weather. It's ridiculous. Um, obviously it's climate change that causes torrential floods, and then the defunding and the breakup of our national weather forecasts. That is so egregious, and that lays squarely on the Republicans' hands, on Trump's hands. What happened to those? According to my guys, entertainment purposes only. And that sounds incongruous in this context, but in terms of what happened with that flooding, so many gone. Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to get us to think that like somehow we have this great failure. And I see, the Democrat independent media talking heads saying the same thing and yelling, castigating the Democrats for not turning out. We have record turnout. And it is just perverse, and it's cruel. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 100%, Daniel. The cuts have impacted nearly all agencies because they want to destroy all regulations and all agencies so they can come in. And I say they. I'm talking about the technocrats and the oil industries and all the people who supported this Felon 45's administration, so they can do whatever the hell they want, and they don't care about what happens to anybody. Um, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the Jewish space lasers. And I heard this very scary analysis or commentary on Peter Thiel and uh, Musk and Thiel and whomever else like vote the whole Project 2025. Their interests crazy, really insane. They're talking about TL allegedly, and he's talked about it himself. What he really wants, which is to never die. He wants to. How can I even say this? He wants to put his consciousness into AI, into like a computer or some kind of robot, so he never dies. And then they want he and Felon, Polonia, is that Polonia? Leon, Elmo, they want to like occupy Mars with this kind of like AI robotic body, and they'll never die. Like, and this whole thing about TL getting, which is the irony of this too. And I think he's talked about this too, or it's kind of widely known, allegedly, that he gets these transfusions from very young children, these blood transfusions, and and I think Musk is the same. They really, really think they can live forever. They're vampires, basically. They really do fit the definition of vampires, and that goes against every like spiritual law. I've done a lot of thinking about this in the last several days since I heard that analysis, because that is not the point. Is to kind of possess a human body or some kind of like even robotic body forever, where your consciousness never dies. You've got to get past that and connect to your higher self and not just hang on to ego. But that's why they're destroying this country. That's why they're trying to destroy the world, is because they want to live forever. And it's a classic archetype. If you look through like the vampire stories and just history, the crazy leaders who have wanted to do that. But if you really look at it from some kind of objectivity, you go, that's nuts. These people are insane, and yet they're so powerful and so just so destructive. And I'll just get back to what I'm talking about, which is why they're breaking up all these agencies. They want to do whatever they want to do. They don't want any regulation, so they can plant chips. This is what was said in this show. This isn't coming from me. To plant chips in people's brains and do. Oh, the irony, yeah, like the whole QAnon accusing Democrats of adrenochrome, remember? And planting chips in people. Well, this is what projection, right? This is what those guys really, really want to do. Hey, Murphy, let me see the what I've missed here. Yes, absolutely. That and yeah, and they just don't want the government to be involved. They want to do what they want to do. Um, that's a good question. Well, we have a midterm election. Yeah, I get scared when I hear, well, I did hear Trump say there'll be, the elections. We've really got to look at the elections. And what he means is we've really got to stop these elections. We don't want these elections because we know the Democrats are going to take over. So let's see. My guides say yes, we will have midterm elections. I don't think the changes in the big, beautifully ugly, horrendous, terrible bill, the big ugly bill, are going to take effect until after the election. So whatever's, and I don't think I think does anybody know for sure? Did the parliamentarian take out a lot of stuff? And that was one of the things. They can't really make a law about the elections. I think some stuff was taken out. But yeah, they don't really, none of the stuff that went through, and there are lawsuits like coming hard and fast against a lot of the cuts that were made, but they don't take place until after the midterms, because maybe they think that if they were effective before the midterms, people would not be happy and wouldn't want to vote for them. But I think that ship has sailed. The guides say, yes, we will have free and fair elections. I hope that is true, JC, but I get 100% yes. What do other people get from their guides? I always like to know. Yeah, and JC, you're saying, right, Kamala. Oh, Ivy, you asked that question, and this is such a good question about the elections. JC's right, and Kamala won by 12 million, according to Election Truth Alliance. Yeah, we turned out, so don't yell at us. We turned out. It's not our fault. So Nanette says, we know 45's house is failing, so the Republicans know it too. Is this causing a burden right now? We talk about, somebody asked about splintering. So that's a good term, or bifurcation. Is that another term? Definitely the Felon 45's administration has splintered. And, you can see what happened with Leon, Elmo. Why I say Elmo is because I believe his enemies in the Republican Party are calling him Elmo because they're so pissed off with him because he is now their enemy. He's Felon 45's enemy. So ironic. And that's a name that they have for him. I'm trying to think of what politicians, not politician, what a Trump administration person called him Elmo, but it was somebody up there. So they have already splintered, and then you have there's the tech bros, there's the the technocrats who would be TL, Musk. Then you'd have Vance. I think Hesketh is one of them, maybe. So you have that group, and then you have the people that would be connected with the oil. And did you notice that bill in the end? It really screwed the EV industry, and it really sucked up to the oil industry. So who won? Who won? But you're constantly having these like, I see it in my mind's eye, these battles between all of these different um, Trump administrators, and um, let's see, and they're so ill-equipped to do the jobs they're doing, which is why they were put in there, because they want to, destroy FEMA. They want to destroy Homeland Security. They really want to destroy it all. On the other hand, when Elmo went through, with his chainsaw, there were certain budgets that some of them wanted to blow up, not to cut. Okay, let's see. Hey, I think I said, hey, D. Marby. Hey, Sue. They want people on Medicaid to work the fields. Yeah, that'd be true. Will Mark Cuban start a third party, Storm? No. Crank us out because he could. My guys are saying no, he won't. Um, we're talking about the America Party. The irony of Elmo starting the America Party. A fellow 45 called him a foreigner. And remember that no matter what polls that are on X, a lot of those are probably bots. I mean, Elmo can, and it could all be bots on Twitter as far as we know, because he owns the damn thing. So why believe his polls? I wouldn't. Uh, well, okay. What my guys are showing me regarding here, for your question, Lori, is that I see Putin behind this. Yeah, it comes back to Putin wanting to splinter our democracy, and he's desperate. He's desperate to siphon power and money away from the American government, and Trump just isn't doing it the way he wants it. I feel like uh, Donald, if he gets anything, like he does give Putin some of it, but he takes, and he's so open to making deals with other countries and other people that he's just not been very trustworthy. So now you have Leon, and he is open to causing whatever mischief he can cause, because he wants to get back. He wants to get back at Donald. He wants revenge, and he's eager to do it in any way he can. He feels that a third party would disrupt the Republicans much more than the Democrats. There's a lot going on there. Putin, he did invite him to come to Russia if he needed to flee. Um, I don't believe. I'm going to say this. Who knows what's going to happen in the future regarding this? Even though I'm a psychic, I'm not going to say 100%. But what I'm hearing from my guides right now is that he's not serious about this party. He just wants to go and get it, Donald, and this is the way to do it. But I think he's going to back off, because there's something else coming down the pike that he's going to bring in. It's going to be like when you're, in a fight, and you get your opponent to think you're coming this way, and then you kind of go around to the other direction, and that's what's coming. And he's going to be blindsided. And Donald's going to be blindsided because, it's going to be much worse than Donald's ready for, which is spilling the beans about the election, telling the truth about helping him get into power, about rigging the election. That's what's coming out. That's what's going to be like the death knell, the not killing Donald, but the punch, the knockout punch. He's kind of distracting him with the America Party, but that's not going to be a thing. I don't think in the end he's going to get bored with it. That's not really going to do it. It's the other thing, because I think that Donald's going to threaten him with deportation, with taking back his citizenship. I don't think he has a strong foundation, Leon, to start a party when he's been so shaky. Um, he's on shaky ground, and because he's so unpopular. Yeah, honestly, I don't know much about Mark Cuban. Can somebody tell me more about him? I just don't. I don't see that party being a reality as much as he might want to, create it. I just don't see it. But I could be wrong. Sorry. Um, Kathy O says we still have about 1.5 months to be for 45 is pulled out. We still have months that our supply chains are disrupted. Goods and foods will slim in the stores. Um, yes, Felon 47 uh, will go after Cuban 100%. There's there's a lot of like this fight that's going on. This five of wands. This splintering in this group of people. They've got a lot of goods on each other, and they have powerful blows that they can render, because Mark Cuban isn't as invulnerable as we think he is. There are things that maybe the administration can do to him that will take away some of his wealth or block his wealth. Something. I don't see it as Cuban coming in and just like, I'm a billionaire, so that's it. Everybody call it quits. I can do this thing. I can be victorious. I don't see it. Um, but I really don't know much about Mark Cuban. I probably later on ask my guides more about him. The guides are showing me though that the America Party is a distraction. That's not really what it's all about. It's all about distracting the felon so he can come in another way. He's going to get like this fight. This is a fight between two Godzillas. They're both powerful. They're both strong. They're both ruthless. Neither one. It's like a fight to the death. Neither one of them wants to lose. It's their narcissistic, sociopathic nature. It's malignant narcissism, right? So their egos, their lust for control and for being on top. I just see it's going to get more and more brutal between them. And I do see, I still see, I could be wrong here, but I still see Leon as having, like, they still use Starlink, I believe, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But I see him like having an app on his phone, and he controls all of Starlink, and he can just switch off. This is what I see, allegedly. He can just switch off any of his internet satellites. He can also upload any information from those satellites, and all of the government. I'm not sure about the military, but the majority of the government, including all of the administration, are dependent on Starlink. So that's huge power in and of itself. Um, I don't believe that. I don't believe the Democrats are weak or the DNC is weak. I don't see that. We'll only know that with the next elections because you're asking the impossible. I think when fight Yeah, but they have been fighting. They've been fighting very, very hard. These votes that have gone through, what can they do? All of the Democrats vote against the bills. It's just that the Republicans have the majority, even if it's a slim majority. There's nothing else they can do. I think they fight very hard. But you were right to your opinion. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to exterminate. I didn't mean to say you're wrong or right. I'm just saying that I don't perceive that. Uh, they're fighting very hard, but you're asking them to do something that they can't do until the hopefully the next elections. We need to gain more Democrats, and then we can fight harder. Um, but that's just my opinion. I'm exterminating. I'm sorry if I'm so adamant about it. Musk is twisting in the wind, wanting to control things he can't. Yes, that is true. The guides say 100% Lori. On the other hand, he has a lot of power he hasn't used yet. Um, and that means compromise. That means information into the secrets, the skeletons in the closet of this administration. He hasn't really pulled out those out yet. And he does have information about Epstein and Felon 45. He has a lot of information, but he was involved with Epstein too, wasn't he? Uh, he was around, for some of that. He knows where the skeletons are buried. Hey, Juanita. So, Stormy, are you saying that Hakeem Jeffries isn't out there raising awareness, or Chuck Schumer, or any of the more old school Democrats? Are you saying that they've been quiet and not doing anything? Because I don't think that's the case. I think that the media just hasn't given them a voice, but they have been out there. I've seen them out there. I don't believe that. I don't believe it's just the progressive Democrats, but I think we're made to believe that's the case. I don't believe that really is the case. But again, I'm sorry. I just think the Democrats, the media wants us to believe that the Democrats are weak, and they're not weak. And they remember in the Biden presidency how many wonderful things that all the Democrats supported, and that were able to be moved through, that benefits so many. It's such a wealth of good intent, and we can't forget that. Um, what is the message of the Democrats? Have you listened to any of them? Have you listened to Hakeem Jeffries recently, or Crockett, or because I think we do have a unified message. I really do. I just don't think we're hearing it, and I just worry that um, the media is trying to, and even the independent media is trying to undermine, because they always do that anyway, the Democrats, so that we lose momentum and faith. But I go back, and maybe I'm in the minority, but I do go back to what my belief is, that we won the election, that we had a strong Democratic message. Was it JC that you said that uh, statisticians believe that Harris won by 12 million votes? And it was an outstanding turnout. But we're going by a fictional narrative, I believe, that we didn't win the election, and that somehow we failed because there was a lack of messaging. But I believe that's a false narrative. Just my belief. I'm really sorry if I don't want to offend anybody. Um, Tris, I agree, Melissa. It seems like the narrative that MAGA wants to put out there. I even see some of our people that we listen to on the internet saying the Democrat Party has a misstep. Yeah, but that's what they want us to believe. I don't believe that's the case. It just intuitively and psychically, every iota of my being sees that we've been undergoing a coup, and we no longer have we haven't had a truly independent mainstream media for a very long time, but especially now it's owned by oligarchs, and you can you can research to see. I think there's 8 oligarchs that own the media now that are, pro-Trump, and somehow I don't know. I feel that we've been failed more by the not the Democratic, but the independent media that aligns itself or calls itself or allies with Democrats. I don't know if they've been doing us a service. I think they, from the beginning, when the AP called the election the day of for Trump, they just, okay, right? We got to go with that. We got to bend our minds into their reality, even though it's cognitive dissonance and it doesn't make any sense. And then things kind of have been going from there. And thank God, Dennison came out with Lights On, her YouTube channel, and other organizations that have been fighting so hard to bring to our consciousness the the I have the word and then lost it, but that inconsistencies in the election results. So, oh, wait a minute. Okay. I don't think, I don't believe that either. I think that's also a narrative that isn't necessarily true, that the Democrats are playing nice with a bunch of gangsters. I think have you heard Crockett? Have you heard AC? They're saying very strong, they're Raskin, all those guys, they have very strong language. I don't think that they're playing, I think that's an old trope of the Democrats. But I think they're fighting very hard. Anomalies. Thank you, JC. I'm going to stick up for the Democrats because I think they did a phenomenal job in getting Kamala, elected. It's just that we had a bunch of people who betrayed us. It was all set up to, right from the very first day, steal our elections, and now we are being occupied. And I believe, this is just my belief, allegedly we are being occupied by a Russian government that is pretty much controlled by Russia, and Saudi Arabia and China and some other countries are in there too. And this is what it feels like to live in an occupation, and you can see it in California. That's what an occupied country will do to a state like California, because California is the enemy to this government. And this government, why? Because California represents, everything that is that Putin hates. And so, fires, I think some of those fires, not that they were initially started by foreign agents, but I believe that they were made worse. Why did, the felon flood the fields of in California? That's the whole thing that hasn't been looked into. Why are the Marines in California? Why is the National Guard there? Why is it being occupied by the military? That is not normal. That's not American. That is not even constitutional. Even though, we have a Supreme Court, which is also part of this occupation, I believe, that's trying to make it constitutional. The way that we're treating or obliterating habeas corpus and treating legal immigrants and even American citizens. This is something we have, I think that we have to really look rationally at what is happening here instead of being kind of drawn into this, like almost being hypnotized into or lulled into a false consciousness that somehow this is still America. When I don't believe that's the case, and maybe I sound really out there, but you can trace, like Nancy Pelosi said, you can trace it all back to Putin. JC said Karen Voss gave an excellent presser today saying all of this, especially calling it out as an occupation. Thank you for saying that. It just is, and I was asking my guys earlier, like, what's the best thing I could tell people? Yeah, Brenda, I agree. We are in shock because how could this be happening? How could this be happening? How could this occupation of this country by foreign entities be reality? Because everything that they do, think about that in that context, in terms of dysregulation of our safety nets, is an attack on our infrastructure. How do you disable a country from within? That's how you do it, right? So it's a terrible feeling. It's horrible, and it is hard to believe it happened. Um, So I think I lost track here, but that's just where we are. Oh yeah, I was talking to my guides, like, what could I tell you? But at the same time, even though I hate saying the things I'm saying, because it's a really horrible reality, it's better to be in reality than to somehow, you know, turn our rational brains off and believe that this is normal or believe this is just the Republican Party. This is what they do. This is far beyond that, far beyond that. Oh, that's interesting. President Eisenhower said Russia would never have to fire a shot to take over the US. Yes, this is how they do it. Um, yeah, Arlene, they are trying to normalize all this. Yeah, Lori, they're still, we can't believe this is happening and on a daily basis. Yeah, people don't get what that $170 billion for. This is it. Um, Brenda says, but with shock, the realization should force people to mobilize. So I don't mean to be freaking people out. I want I just want to help people understand like what's really happening. But I do believe that there is a backlash. There is another force that is resisting this, and I I want to ask my guides what that is. Let's see. You're third generation, so you'll be fine. um, and I'm sorry I hope people don't feel offended if I stick up for the Democrats as much as I do, because you have a right to believe what you believe, and it's hard not to. That message is being seeded like Democrats are weak, they're unpopular, all this because it's seeded in the narrative. I just don't see it, because it can't. How much has changed, right, from like 7 months ago when we were all fired up. Think back to the Democratic conventions and the feeling that we had, and the fact that when they do the polling, it's always like 65% of people are against felon 45's policies. That's because 65% of the people or more did not vote for him in the first place. um, so all the rest of the world is waiting for you to ask for help. Um, Many readers see Biden working with world leaders in the dark. I have seen that too. The guides do show me that. They say there is a lot of action still being taken to overcome this coup, but it's just so the way that it's happened. Why didn't we just do it, at the beginning? And why did we let this take place? And the guides say it was just too overwhelming because of the media being owned by them, because of the people who betrayed us are the only, the GOP, the Supreme Court. Uh, they say even if Trump had been persecuted, and even if, from the top down, this still was in play. It's been in play for a long time, this coup. But they say the coup will fall. The coup does not have legs to stand up. And that people like Biden and Harris and, the protectors or the people who believe in our democracy, even members of the military, are going to help us get this democracy back. The Democrats are better, but I also love socialist Democrats. Yes, absolutely. Um, Stormby, I agree. Clarence feels some Democrats are taking corporate money in Israel donations. Uh, um, and I think that's whatever, that's not what to focus on right now. I don't think. Um, I don't think Israel, and that's a little bit of like, oh, Israel is like that whole like anti-Semitic thing about Israel. And yes, Bibi is a horrible person, but Israel wasn't the downfall, the global corporatist Jews or whatever, are not the downfall of this world. That's a little dangerous too, to be in that mindset. Tristan says I'm with Melissa, and I'm not even a Democrat. um, Yeah, we do. We need to snatch our democracy back, like South Korea. And was it Romania? So, okay, let me ask the guides what they want to tell you. I'm going to ask. I shouldn't. Why? I shouldn't do that either. I was almost going to say I'm going to ask the guides if I was right, but I'm the one asking them. That's not really fair. But I do want to ask them for some clarity. Um, with an element of surprise. Yes, 100%. The guides say that we are being challenged, we are being tested on every level, spiritual, emotional, psychologically, and also physical. And a lot of empaths, including myself, have been just struggling with, physical reactions that are really hard to pinpoint to this whatever um, density or stench or stink is happening on the world level. You can feel it. This fear, this sadness, and also the entrenched evil in the emotional field of the collective, and that's been difficult. That's been very difficult. But and some people are in despair, and some people are they almost feel like giving up. And what's the point? This is really what I incarnated for. And they just want to walk you back to a place where you have been before, where you detach, where you find your meditation, where you find your connection with your higher self, with the divine, or whatever energy it is that lifts you above this, because this is temporary. And in a way, spiritually, I believe there's evil and darkness out there that's trying. Yes, exactly, Jackie. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It is a spiritual war, and they're trying to get you to give up. And it's not time to give up at all. It's time to go higher and to transcend, even to walk it back to the idea of, if you do believe in incarnation, we've been here before. We've been through a lot of terrible times, but the need to detach from whatever time period you're in and go back to the source and go back to like the bodhisattva, intent. We're here to help human beings and sentient beings of the earth, not just humans, to transcend suffering. And once you've come back and incarnated or reincarnated to do service during this time, that's why we're here. And they say to help transcend suffering and to detach from the ephemeral and the temporary, um, and to find that connection in our spirits and our souls to the I want to say the divine, but you can say whatever you might want to call it. And as we're again, now that we're coming back to that idea, which is a crazy idea, really, but I do believe it's happening personally. And I know other psychics have talked about it and people have written about it. But this, the dimensions, and I said this in the last few videos, but the dimensions being split apart as we come into Aquarius. The lower dimensions are becoming denser and denser and denser. These are the dimensions of ego and greed and, all the vices. This, desire to live forever as an ego and to kind of be a vampire and whatever, that, and to not want to let go of whatever ego we have and this current incarnation, and just to forever and ever and ever never die and just be one big appetite. So there's that, and that's becoming more and more dense, and they're not giving it up. But the higher dimensions, the higher vibrations are becoming faster, and they're calling us, those of us who wish to be part of this ascension into that reality, and we're kind of right at the nexus. So if that makes sense, they want us to just go back to our spiritual practices, acquire new ones, go back into meditation, go back into quiet, go back into, and instead of giving up, double down on how do I transcend this time? How do I work on myself? How do I continue to be kind during this time? What can I do? What can I do for the world right now? A crash course in faith. Why do I have this desire to fight? Is it because I can see the madness from a distance? Well, yeah, to fight the evil, absolutely. So that's what the guides are saying. This is a time we're being tested, but we do have each other, and we become stronger as we connect, and we love, and we have intent to help and to heal. All of these things matter. There was also spiritual attack to the Russians working on all bases. Yeah, I said that in the earliest live videos that I was doing. That was one of the things that I really wanted to, or that really inspired me to have a live was, well, was I wrong about Kamala? Was I wrong about this and that? How dare I even go on and, have my YouTube channel? But then I realized that I needed to talk about this stuff, because my guides did show me that Putin had witches and he was going to shamans and actively working on us from this dark spiritual plane, and yeah, and that is it, definitely. And my guides always bring me back, remind me this is a spiritual war. We are in a spiritual war, so we need to hone our weapons, our tools, and fight. So let me see. We're at 4:03, but I'll carry on for a little bit. Thank you for the person who's gifted me the crown. That's very kind. Oh, wildflower wind. That's all right. Sorry, I missed the live. You're here now, though. We're still alive right now. Is anybody feeling down with the energy? Yeah, 100%. If when you rewatch the video, I hope you do on the replay. Well, I talk about that because it's been very difficult emotionally, and we talk about being tested spiritually. So it will be, yeah. Thank you, Clarence Fields. But it will be okay. I believe it will be okay too. Maybe it can end on that. the guides say, yes, it'll be wonderful. They see so much light coming at us in the future. So we just need to hang on, and be there strong for each other. Yeah. So let's see what their comments. Yeah, Maria. Yeah, sapping of energy, 100%. Hold the light. Thank you. Hold the light. So thank you, Brenda. I live in the UK and see it from a different perspective. You will be fine. I agree with that. I believe that too. So everybody take care of yourselves, okay? Um, I love you. Um, I will be back. Oh, one thing. Oh, I probably should say hit the like, subscribe, whatever. Good for the algorithm. I'm still giving personal readings, and you can contact me with my Sacred Fire Sacred Fire psychic readings at gmail.com, or I give my phone number. It'll be in the description box below. And be good to yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Thank you, Clarence. Love and hugs. Love and hugs to all of you, okay? I'll be back next week. You guys take care. See ya, okay? Bye-bye.